Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the GorillaBiker. So today we're going to do a long-term review of this bike, the Yamaha Fz6 S2. It's a 2007 model with no ABS, so this is the non-ABS model. It's essentially standard apart from double H brake pads, different levers. That's about it really, and I have a DID chain with JT steel sprockets on it, and I even put back on the low screen for today's video because I listened to fan feedback. Some people had commented the tall screen is blocking too much view, and I agree it was, so it's gone. I put back on the standard stock screen. So we're going to talk some numbers first about this bike as we make our way through Passage West. Its max power is 98 horsepower at 12,000 revs. Max torque is a little bit earlier, about 63 odd foot-pounds at 10,000 revs. So where I'm riding it right now is essentially nothing. The model I have has two discs on the front, and they're stopped by two 4-piston calipers, Brembo calipers. They're the same as the blue dot Brembo calipers that are on the R6. They just don't have the blue bolt, and they're really good. Like if you come off an older bike like my Magna and come back onto this and stop, the Magna has a single disc and a 2-pot caliper. The difference is just astounding. It's night and day. So I suppose to actually start the review, if you've been following along my kind of review series I'm doing, and everything I've done so far has been a smaller, I suppose a starter bike for tall people. And again, if you're new here, this review will be more catering towards taller people because I'm large, 200 centimeters tall and around about 120 kg. So with that said, we'll bash on. This bike, out of the three I have reviewed, is by far and away the best fitting if you're tall. Just start off in ergonomics because this is more of a long-term review. It's not a first ride. I own this bike. It's mine. And yeah, from the off, comfort-wise, it's top of the line. It's not amazingly more comfortable than either of the two, but if you were to say you can have any of those three bikes for free, which one would you have? I'd pick this one. It really is comfortable for tall people. The seat height is quite tall. It's about 865 millimeters, and the pegs are nice and low. So it is it's a very much a sport touring configuration more than anything else. Like it's a borderline commuter. If it didn't have the power it has, and it didn't have the long range fuel tank it has, it would probably be more sports touring / commuter. But it does have a big tank, 19 litres I think, which obviously will do an insane distance for you. I think the furthest I've ever went when I was babying it was over 300 kilometers, which is a lot. It just flows through the gears as well. It's really good. So I only got a new tyre on this yesterday. I tightened everything up. Oh, by the way, I suppose we can touch on that when we get back to ergonomics in a second. Servicing on this is easy as for everything except spark plugs, because it's a 4-cylinder, so you're never going to have super easy servicing on a 4-cylinder because you're more spark plugs, you're more valves. Because of the way the engine is mounted, it's a pain in the ass to get to the spark plugs. There's really very little access, but you know, you still can do it without taking too much off. You loosen the radiator, you can get in at it. I'll make a video about that sometime so I can show you how to do it. But back to ergonomics. Standard bars, lovely. All the switch gear is really comfortable to get to, easy to use. Brake and clutch are nicely spaced for me anyway. And where you're sitting, so if you are as tall as I am, and I've had smaller people on this as well who loved it, where you sit, your position is very, very comfortable for long distance. If you want to duck down to do a bit more sporty riding, you can also do that. That option's there. But for me, there's no real need. You can do all the sporty riding you want while standing up on this. And it's just so controllable. So for the bars that are on it, and they're more of a comfortable kind of layout, they're still really, really versatile. So I suppose we'll move on to the power and the power delivery. So ergonomics, it's a thumbs up, right? For me, it's a thumbs up. Now again, all the scores will be at the very start of the video, because I do up the scoring kind of when I go home. I think about it, I balance it, and I do it there. But definitely a thumbs up comfort wise. It is, out of all the bikes I've ridden, I've had a go on a lot of them. The bigger bikes, obviously, they are more comfortable because you've more space on them. But this isn't, it's not amazingly more comfortable or anything. You know, it is, for me, it's on par with a lot of them. Yeah, you probably have more space, more shoulder space. But for a single person on this bike, this is as comfortable as it needs to be. I've been out on this in a day for 10 hours before and had absolutely no issues. So where were we? Power delivery. Power delivery is it's really nice. So low down, I will say low down, the power is, I've said it before about this bike, it's kind of asthmatic. It, from anywhere below 4, if you twist the throttle, you don't really get anything unless you're in a very low gear, like first or second. If you're above that, you don't really have anything. So it's not a problem because you have shit tons of power up high. It's just you kind of have to get used to it. If you're used to a bike that has a lot of torque down low for overtaking and stuff, you got to get out of that habit riding this one because it's just not there. So if you're relying on it, you won't have it. But that said, when you get up high, this is it's a 600 Yamaha engine, so it sounds fantastic. It's 4-cylinder 600 Yamaha. It sounds fantastic. It has acres of power up high. It just feels lovely. So that's a very quick demonstration. But we'll move on to the next thing, cost. So cost of this bike, brand new, they were pretty good brand new, and now the S2, there is the ABS version as well, but from what I can see online, there's almost no difference in used price for an equivalent bike with ABS or non-ABS. There are a couple of these out here, the S2s, with some are higher mileage. This one has 35 and a bit thousand kilometers, nearly 36,000 kilometers. So you know it's middling compared to what I see online. But I would easily turn around and get 3,500 tomorrow for this. So it's very kind of representative of what a lot of 600 of this age and layout get. So for me, it's price wise, it's fine. It's kind of what you would expect from a representative 600 of this type. You know, do I think that I would be happy paying more than that? No, probably not. There's a lot of other bikes there that I go for beforehand, but would I be okay if I was to write this one off, right, and it was entirely my own fault and I got no money for it? Would I be happy going paying that money for it again? Yes, I would buy another one of these if it was something I needed. If I wasn't ready to move up to a different bike, now I probably am ready to move up to a different bike, but that's not the point. Cost, value for money, absolutely, it's there. Really good bike for the money you get. Lots of power. Extras, there are none. You know, you have your odometer, so you have your speedo, your revs, you have a fuel gauge, which is really nice, and you also have oil temperature, but you also have engine temperature, but you also have an inlet air temperature. If you want to switch that, you can. The dash does miles per hour and kilometers an hour. So I suppose when I say there's no extras, I'm kind of lying. There are some extras, but you don't have ABS traction control, all that newfangled nonsense. So then that gets us on to practicality. Now this is a long-term practicality, so it's a bit cheekier, but I use this bike almost every day to commute to and from work. I use it to go in and out of Cork City, and I've used it up and down to Kilkenny. I've used it up and down to many places. Practicality is excellent. I've strapped a 50-litre roll-on bag onto the back while also having my backpack on, and never had an issue with it. So it's well able to carry weight. It's, you know, absolutely no problem there. And then I'm also going to throw in a quick one on this because I've had time to look at it and appreciate it. Aesthetically, I really like this bike. The only thing I would say that I don't like stock are staring me right in the face. The wing mirrors, I really don't like them. They're huge antenna of things, but at the same time, have I seen worse? I have. So they're not so bad. They could be a lot worse. We're just back out. If you watched my 3 reasons why I ride a Magna, we were out here, so I'm gonna use this area again if I can. I really like it. It has nice views and it's a nice easy ride from where I live. One thing I do need to say is maneuverability. Overall easy use, which does feed into the ergonomics, but the whole bike, really easy to use. So I did my full test on this, had absolutely no issues. Passed it first time. We'll just do a brake test here now. So you can see we can slow right the way down, no issues. Maneuverability is really, really good. Power delivery is really good. Comfort's really good. Would I recommend this to a tall person? If I had a friend, right? Say you were my buddy, and you said, Michael, you're tall, I'm tall. What bike should I get if we're both tall? And I was selling this, I'd say buy this. It's a great bike. I really have nothing bad to say about it. To continue, this is the final sort of stock looking S2. Obviously, sorry, I also have tail tidy on it, but stock exhaust, stock header, stock everything, except tail tidy, levers and chain. So I think it's a good looking bike. That's the stock screen. I think even the standard front indicators are okay, but stock seat, really comfortable. I really like the stock look. I love the black engine, black frame. So yeah, that's really all. So yeah, if you were my buddy, you wanted to buy a bike and you were tall, would I recommend a Yamaha Fz6 S2 if there was one going is in good condition? 100%. If you were starting off learning, this is a really good bike to learn on. It has a controllable power curve. The power is there, so you won't grow out of it too quickly. In my opinion, I've toured a lot on this, done quite a bit of mileage on it, and I didn't ever feel like I was being left behind by any of my friends or other people who might have been out on the road at the same time as me. The only time I got absolutely burned was by an MT-09. And even then, it's only because they were a lunatic and I wasn't willing to go as fast as them. So, yeah, overall recommendation, if you're tall, you're looking for a starter bike, yeah, buy it. So, if you've watched, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe and give it a share if you're feeling generous. Check out my other review videos on the Honda Hornet and also the MT-03 660cc version. They're doing really well. So also I just hit over 3,000 views the other day, so everyone who's contributed to that, thank you very much, and everyone who's subscribed, thank you very much. And I hope you keep enjoying my content. So I'm going to take some pictures of this and they'll be right after this bit. So thanks for watching. Adios.